To explain is to admit. When you try to tell a toxic person what your limits are, you have already crossed them. You are fighting for your right to live. In the court of a manipulator, the defense lawyer is always the first to die. They don't disrespect you. They just don't comprehend you. They don't respect you because they have figured out that it won't cost them anything to do so. They see you as a source of emotional support, like a vending machine. When your snack gets stuck, you don't ask a vending machine for permission to kick it. You just kick it. Most advice tells you to talk to others better, utilize I words, and show them how to treat you. This is a dangerous lack of knowledge. You can't tell someone who is actively studying your syllabus how to take advantage of the gaps. There is a psychological override switch that makes the brain change its mind about a target from prey to predator in less than 3 seconds. You don't need to shout or argue, and most importantly, you need to give up the one thing you think will save you: your need to be understood. I'm going to give you the code to change how they see you, but be aware, once you do this, the dynamic shifts permanently. You will not be liked, but you will never be touched again. Let's demolish the delusion. Disrespect is not an accident. It is a compliance exam. In biological systems, predators prod. They nip at the heels of the herd. They are not attacking yet. They are gathering data. They are checking for a limp. When a toxic coworker shouts over you in a meeting, or a narcissistic partner makes a joke about your insecurities in front of friends, they are not being careless. They are conducting a diagnostic. They are questioning how much area can I take before this person defends the boundary. If you get furious, you fail. Anger tells them you are wounded. Wounded animals are simple to steer. If you stay mute and look down, you fail. Submission tells them you are domesticated. Domesticated animals exist to be exploited. The mistake you have made, the mistake we all make, is presuming the poisonous person is functioning on a moral frequency. You assume if you only explain how much it hurts, they would stop. They won't. To them, your discomfort is not a deterrent. It is a validation. It proves they have influence. It demonstrates they are the architect of your world. So, how do you pass the compliance test? You do not fight the test, you grade it. You must enter a state I call the clinical detachment. Imagine a surgeon gazing at a tumor. The surgeon does not detest the tumor. The surgeon does not yell at the tumor. The surgeon watches it, assesses its proportions, chooses how to take it out. There is no emotion, simply technique. The next time they mistreat you, you must look at them not as an enemy, but as a patient exhibiting a symptom. Let's look at history to comprehend power. Consider the Cold War. The entire stability of the globe hinged on mutually assured destruction. If you fire, I fire, we both perish. It was a balance of terror. Toxic relationships are generally an asymmetric war. They hurl missiles, insults, triangulation, gaslighting, and you fire back with feelings. You try to utilize diplomacy against a guerrilla warrior. You need to induce psychological asymmetry. This implies your reaction must never match the energy they project. If they are hot, angry, screaming, aggressive, you become absolute zero, calm, factual, low. If they are chilly, silent treatment, withholding, frosty, you become warm, unbothered, active, interested with others. You become the glitch in their algorithm. The poisoned mind relies on predictability. A narcissist knows exactly which buttons to push to receive a specific yield of supply. If they push the guilt button and you administer an apology, the machine works. If they push the rage button and you dispense a fight, the machine works. When you apply asymmetry, the machine clogs. Let's simulate this. They claim you're too sensitive. That's why nobody likes you. The old you, the victim. That's not true. Why would you say that? I have plenty of buddies. Result: you are defending. You are validating their judgment. You are feeding the machine, the new you, the architect. You pause. You hold eye contact for 3 seconds. Too long to be courteous. Too brief to be aggressive. You say with a flat, clinical tone. That is a fascinating thing for you to say out loud. And then you go back to what you were doing. Notice what occurred there. You didn't deny it. Denying it means their perspective has weight. You didn't fight back. Fighting implies they are a worthy opponent. You categorize their actions. Fascinating. You peered at them like a bug in a jar. You just indicated, I am not part of your act. I am the critic sitting in the crowd watching you awful act. There is a concept in interrogation called the dead drop. When an interrogator is seeking to break a subject, they look for hooks, emotional hooks. They try to find what the suspect cares about: family, freedom, reputation. Once they discover the hook, they pull. The dead drop is when the suspect gives them nothing to hook onto. It is distinct from the gray rock method you might have heard about. Gray rock is passive. It is concealing. It is hoping the predator loses interest. The dead drop is active. It is weaponized boredom. I want you to recollect the story of Diogenes the Cynic. Alexander the Great, the most powerful man in the known world, arrives to see Diogenes. Diogenes was resting in the sunlight. Alexander stood over him and said, I am Alexander the Great. Ask of me anything you wish, and I will grant it. Diogenes didn't stand up. He didn't bow. He shaded his eyes from the glare, glanced up at the emperor, and murmured, Stand a little out of my sun. He didn't insult Alexander. He didn't fight him. He just emphasized his own immediate reality, the sunlight, over the abstract power of the monarch. This is the ultimate disrespect to a narcissist. Indifference to their hierarchy. Toxic people assume they are the main character. When you disrespect them back, you are playing the villain. You are still a supporting actor in their movie. When you treat them with everyday indifference, you are telling them they are an extra in your movie. How do you execute this one? The shattered record of facts. Do not interact with their narrative. Engage only with the undeniable physical reality. If they say, you're useless, you never do anything right about the dishes, you do not say, I do everything around here. You say, the dishes are done. They are in the rack. They intensify. You have such an attitude. You say, the dishes are clean. You strip the speech of adjectives. Adjectives are emotive handles. Nouns and verbs are facts. Stick to nouns and verbs. 2. The 80-20th eye contact rule. When they are ranting, like their forehead, not their eyes. It is subtle, but it is disturbing. It implies that you are gazing at them, not engaging with them. It breaks the limbic resonance. They cannot sync with your terror if you are not locking into their soul. To properly master this, you must comprehend the economy of the encounter. Every interaction with the toxic person is a transaction. They are purchasing significance. They are paying with provocation. If they provoke you and you react, they have purchased a feeling of significance. They felt strong because they controlled your emotional state. You must close the shop. But this is the gloomy truth that few discuss. You are glued to the transaction too. You are glued to the hope that this time they will understand. You are addicted to the potential of who they could be. This is intermittent reinforcement. It is the same psychological mechanism that keeps individuals addicted to slot machines. Most of the time, the machine takes your money. Disrespect. But occasionally, very occasionally, it provides you a payoff: love, generosity, praise. Because the reward is unpredictable, your brain releases more dopamine than if it were consistent. You are chemically tied to your tormentor. To stop the disrespect, you must break your own addiction. You reduce them to a mere malfunctioning machine. And it is difficult to be intimidated by a machine that you have the blueprints for. We need to create your internal architecture. The tactics, the dead drop, the clinical stare are the software. But we need to upgrade your hardware. Why does their disrespect hurt? Because a part of you agrees with them. If a youngster comes up to you and said, "You are a purple dinosaur," you wouldn't be offended. You would laugh. You know it's not true. But if a poisonous individual says, "You are unlovable," it cuts deep. Why? Because you worry it might be true. They are echolocating your wounds. They send out insults like sonar pings, waiting to see where the signal bounces back. If you have a wound regarding your IQ, they will find it. If you have a wound about your body image, they will find it. To become immune to disrespect, you must become self-sourced. This means your value is established by an internal audit, not an external market price. You must know your flaws better than they do. If you embrace your shortcomings, they cannot be exploited as weapons. Eminem did this in the climactic rap battle of 8 Mile. He named every single unpleasant thing about himself before his opponent could. I am white. I am a bum. I do live in a trailer with my mom. He stated it all. When he concluded, his opponent had nothing more to say. The ammunition was gone. You must accomplish this internally. Yes, I am sensitive. Yes, I'm struggling financially right now. Yes, I have anxiety. Own it. Radical acceptance. Once you own the tail, they cannot lease it out to you at a high interest rate. We are now entering the most perilous phase of the protocol. You have applied the dead drop. You have established clinical dissociation. You are utilizing the return to sender method, and you anticipate logically that they will cease. They will not. Not yet. They will escalate. In behavioral psychology, this is called the extinction burst. Think about an elevator button. You press it. The elevator doesn't come. What do? Do you walk away immediately? No, you press it again. Harder. Again. You mash the button. You feel frustrated. You might even kick the door. Only then, after the machine confirms it is actually dead, do you take the stairs? When you cease reacting to a poisonous individual, you have cut the connections to their button. They are not going to shrug and walk away. They are going to mash the button. They will try to make you jealous. They will spread misinformation, smear campaign. They will bring up your past blunders. They will accuse you of being cold, abusive, or egotistical. Projection. They are tossing everything at the wall to see what sticks. Most individuals fail here. They witness the escalation and think, oh bad, I've made things worse. I better apologize to keep the peace. Do not fold. The escalation is not an indication of failure. It is a symbol of success. It suggests they are panicking. It means the old keys don't unlock you anymore. The storm is loudest shortly before the structure collapses. You must hold the line to endure the extinction blast. You need armor. The heaviest weapon they wield is shame. They use shame to dominate you. You should be ashamed of yourself for treating me this way. I want to expose you to a Stoic practice from Cato the Younger, the man who rivaled Julius Caesar. Cato was a senator in Rome, fascinated with morality, yet he recognized that the dread of public opinion was a chain. So, he practiced a technique to inoculate himself against humiliation. He would purposefully wear tunics that were the wrong hue. He would travel through Rome barefoot. He would do things that defied the dress conventions of the elite. People laughed at him. They pointed. They whispered. And that was the point. He was training his neurological system to feel the heat of judgment and not burn. He was teaching his brain. They are laughing, and I am still breathing. Their opinion has no dynamic force. You must apply the Cato protocol. When the toxic individual tries to shame you, lean into it. Don't hide from the accusation. Wear it like an ill-fitting tunic. They claim you are being so selfish. You merely nod. I'm focusing on me right now. Yes. They claim you look dreadful in that. You say I'm comfy. When you agree with the premise of their attack or simply refuse to be humiliated by it, you disarm the warhead. Shame demands buy-in. If you don't buy it, they can't sell it. This brings us to a tactical maneuver called in assertiveness training as fogging. Imagine throwing a rock into a dense fog bank. Does the fog break? No. Does the fog throw the rock back? No. The fog simply absorbs the rock. There is no influence. The rock disappears. Toxic people desire a hard surface to strike against. They desire resistance. Resistance creates friction, and friction creates heat, drama. Fogging is the art of agreeing with the truth, the possibility, or the principle of what they say without agreeing to their demand. Let's look at the mechanics. Attack. You're incompetent. You ruined up this whole project. Defensive response. No, I didn't. It was Mark's fault. Hard surface resistance. Fogging reaction. You're right. There were obviously errors in the project. I can see why you're frustrated. You agreed with the truth. There were errors. You validated their emotion, frustration, but you did not embrace the identification of incompetence. You provided no resistance. The rock passed right through you. Attack. If you leave me, you'll die alone. No one else will want you. Fogging reaction. That is a possibility. The future is unknown. This is catastrophic to a manipulator. They are aiming to inspire terror. You are replying with philosophical logic. You are not battling the prophecy. You are only marking it as one of many probable possibilities. It makes you sound reasonable, and it makes them sound hysterical. Be careful of the peace offering. In the cycle of abuse, after the explosion follows the honeymoon phase, or in more deliberate dynamics, love bombing. They will come to you with a present, a favor, a sudden shift in mood. I made your favorite dinner. I bought those tickets you wanted. This is the Trojan horse. The Greeks didn't breach Troy by knocking down the walls. They breached it by appealing to the Trojans' vanity and piety. They left a gift. The Trojans dragged the gift inside the walls themselves. When you accept a favor from a toxic person during a quarrel, you are taking a debt. The instant you eat the dinner or accept the tickets, the social contract reactivates. You are now bound to be kind. You are compelled to shed your boundaries. If you retain your limits after taking the gift, you become the bad guy. After all I done for you, you're still acting like this. The rule of zero debt. During the detoxification phase, accept nothing. Thank you, but I've already eaten. That's a nice offer, but I can't go. Keep the gates of Troy sealed. Do not let the wooden horse in, no matter how nicely carved it is. Free stuff from poisonous people are the most expensive things you will ever own. You need to alter your self-perception from a person to a sovereign state. A country has borders. It has visa laws. It has trading regulations. If a neighboring country keeps pouring poisonous garbage across the border, the sovereign state doesn't cry about it. It doesn't ask why do they hate us. It imposes punishments. It constructs a wall. It closes the embassy. You must regard your energy as a natural resource, like oil or gold. The toxic person is a foreign power aiming to extract your resources without paying for them. Sanctions, protocol. If they disrespect you, trading stops. You don't chat about their day. You don't assist them find their keys. You don't offer emotional assistance. You engage in vital services solely. I'm taking the kids to school. The rent is payable on the 1st. That is it. The entertaining bits of you, your humor, your empathy, your stories are high-value exports. Stop delivering them to a nation that is bombing your ports. They will accuse you of punishing them. You are not punishing. You are protecting. There is a significant difference. Punishment is about bringing people suffering. Protection is about preventing your own pain. The effect may look the same to them, loss of access, but the intent is quite different. And the intent alters your vibe from spiteful to unbothered. We come now at the title of this video. Do this once. Toxic people will never disrespect you. What is the once? Is it a sentence, a look, a fight? No, the once is an internal event. It is a psychic death. You must once and for all extinguish the hope. This sounds morbid. It is the only way to freedom. The root of your suffering is not their behavior. It is your hope that their behavior will alter. You are holding on to a possible version of them that does not exist. You are in love with a ghost. You keep explaining yourself because you hope they will finally grasp it. You keep arguing because you think they will admit they are wrong. You keep staying because you think the person they were in the beginning will return. You must look at them with your professional detachment and recognize this is who they are. This is all they are capable of. They will never change. They will never understand. And I am good with it. Radical acceptance. When you kill the hope, you kill their power. You cannot be disappointed by a person you have no expectations of. You cannot be manipulated by a person you do not require validation from. The moment you genuinely realize that they are a scorpion and that stinging is simply what scorpions do, you stop trying to train them to be a puppy. You quit sticking your hand in the cage. This is the once. The moment the switch flips. The moment you realize, I'm not waiting for you to be better anymore. I am proceeding with my life as if you will always be this way. That difference in your energy is palpable. They will feel it. They will feel the cord snap. They will know instinctively that you have left the building, even if your body is still seated in the chair. Here is the paradox. When you finally stop caring, when you stop trying to please them, when you treat them with the courteous indifference of a stranger, that is typically when they start to appreciate you. Not the respect of affection, but the respect of terror. They revere power, and self-control is the ultimate power. When they understand they can no longer trigger you, they will likely move on to an easier target. Predators search for limps. If you don't limp, they lose interest. You will have peace. but it will not be the peace of a loving hug. It will be the serenity of a fortress, peaceful, secure, unassailable. You may lose the connection, but you will regain your sanity, and it is a transaction you should make every single day. So the next time the insults fly, do not raise your shield. Do not pull your sword. Simply stare at the fog. Look at the sunlight. Let the words pass past you, since you are no longer present to receive them. You have already ascended, but be aware, when you create a castle, you must be careful not to shut yourself inside alone. There is a way to have boundaries without becoming frigid. There is a way to be strong without losing your humanity. That equilibrium is the hardest art of all, and most people swing too far into the darkness and become the same thing they fought against. How can you keep your heart tender while keeping your walls hard? That is a secret for the initiated. If this opened your eyes, recognize, this is only what I can reveal publicly. There are videos